Hello, everyone. I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, bye-bye 2016.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Commander's Brew, episode 75.
75.
We're 3/4 of the way to 100.
This is episode 3 Gumballs.
So what month will we be in when we hit 100?
15 weeks is just
20.
under 4 months.
So
that's wrong. 25
Yeah,
weeks
so
is
so then
just over 6
add
months.
10 to that.
Just over 6 months. So probably January plus 6. June, July, something like that.
June, July.
Yeah, June, July.
Ooh.
That's when we do our next Gumball.
Wow. That might be close to GP Vegas.
GP Vegas.
GP Vegas,
GP
of course.
Vegas.
Everyone talking about GP Vegas. Not really. Everyone's talking about the end of 2016.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's talking about.
That's what this episode is about.
Yes.
I mean, in deck form.
Yeah, in deck form. We got a lot of mixed feelings about 2016. I think most people do.
Yep.
We had some good times and some bad.
Yep.
We had some sad things happen, but some great things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how to summarize this with our podcast, but to build 2 decks around it, because that's what we always do.
Yeah. 2 decks, 2 themes, 1 theme, 2 angles, something like that. You divide it how we want.
However you like.
Yeah. We do it on a budget, $50 or less. Probably no more than $5 a card, but yeah. This is our big blowout to 2016. So we'll explain that in more detail once we cover some business.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little vague right now, but we'll get into it in a sec.
Mysterious.
Business-wise, we have an ad from our sponsor, Wizard Tower.
Yep.
WizardTower.com. We'll play that right now for you.
Oh, hey, cool. You're here too? That's cool. We're here in a secret underground New Year's Eve party, so the consulate doesn't know about it, so they don't take away all of our cool ether favors and our cool noisemakers, and we're doing artifact karaoke over here. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, it's getting close. It's pretty cool. Hoping I get to find someone to smooch at midnight, but nonetheless, I want to mention a New Year's resolution that I have. I want to be a better shopper at the Wizards Tower, wizardtower.com. I haven't been using coupon code Tower of Brews to get an extra 5% off my order. That's just foolish. And I know that if I order singles in Canada $15 or more, or $10 or more in the US, I get free shipping. I've been ordering my orders $1 too little to get that shipping advantage. Oh man, what a fool. I guess also, the kickback thing is kind of automatic. I mean, I haven't been foolish and been missing that, because Wizards Tower is going to give you 3% kickback on your next order no matter what you do, no matter how you press those buttons. That's unavoidable. That's going to go on your account for store credit. So, that's good for them. Cool. You know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to drop 10 pounds, That's, I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to finally use that gym membership I'm paying for. I'm not even using it. I mean, it's all the way out in Pima. I got to take a Aradara Express to get there, but I should just do it, I'm worth it. My health is important. Okay, I'm going to go flirt with some people, see if I can secure my midnight smooch. See ya.
New Year's resolutions. They're the worst.
Gotta have them.
Gotta have them, though, and those are some good ones. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I was thinking to myself, I was like, not because it's New Year's, but I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'd like to exercise a little bit more.
Sure.
But I think that's just because it's winter and I'm sedentary now.
Yeah.
I don't think that has to do with January 1st. I think that's just but now I'm thinking well, I'm not going to go to the gym in January because it's a friggin' zoo.
Yeah, it's a zoo, and it's cold outside on top of that anyways.
Yeah.
So you might as well just wait until everyone stops going, which I feel like is definitely
2 weeks into January.
Definitely end of January. Yeah.
By the end of January, everyone's done.
Everyone's done.
Except for the people who are who've made it a habit and it's part of their life all year round.
Yeah, those people must hate January.
They must hate it.
Yeah, it just makes your regular everyday thing that you do that you might enjoy or might just begrudgingly tolerate that much worse.
Yeah.
Now there's 1,000 people going instead of 100, and they're all new and they don't know anything and they don't know how anything works. Because that's what I know. That's what it's like when I go to the gym.
Yeah, they don't wipe anything down.
Yeah. I mean, you got to wipe stuff down. Everybody knows that. But like, how do you use those machines? I don't know. I'm standing there. I'm like, well, this looks like a good amount of weight, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so the little cartoon man has behind his shoulders colored in red. So I think that's the part of me I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
But I'm not feeling it there.
I'm feeling it there. It's really hurting in the lower back area.
Yeah,
It's
and my neck. I mostly feel it on my neck.
It's straining my bones. Am I supposed to be working on my bones? How does that work?
None of his bones are colored in red. So
God, maybe I'm doing this wrong. Yeah.
I'm just going to go into the treadmill and watch Oprah.
Yeah, if you work out and your bones are hurting, you're doing it wrong for sure.
Probably.
Also, never massage your bones. If you're getting a massage, make sure no one pushes on your bones.
Ooh.
It's the worst.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, some people out there know what I'm talking about. You got a partner. I don't. My partner gives a decent. My wife gives good massages. Like, we'll say that in case she's listening. She's for sure not. But but you know what? Sometimes people think that like that's like
the deeper the better.
And like, oh, it's hard there. It's like, that's the bone. Don't push on that. It hurts. Anyways, yeah, the gym. What other business do we have going on?
Well, we've got our Patreon as usual. So we didn't get to our deck reno over the holidays. The holidays too busy. Oof. But keep an eye out for that. That's one thing we offer our patrons. We just randomly will pick one and we'll just do like the Commander's Brew deck reno on one of it. We'll just kind of take the deck and throw it in a direction. Give it some focus if you want. Whatever you want. We'll just do something.
That's right. We also have a Brew and Brawl coming up.
Ooh, so we didn't get to do one on the last Sunday of the month, which was
Christmas Day.
Or New Year's Eve. No, yeah, Christmas Day.
Right.
So we're going to do one in 2 days or in one, depending when you listen to this. December 29th. That's going to be Thursday evening.
Yeah.
3 to 6 p.m. It's in one day. Okay, great. So tomorrow night, or like in a few hours, depending when you listen to this. Maybe
you know what? Go check Twitch right now and see if we're doing it.
Yeah, flip to Twitch right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we're there.
Yeah.
And if you do, if you're just flipping to Twitch by listening to this, say something in the chat that refers to that. Say like, no gym. Say no gyms.
Say, yeah. No gyms. No gyms. Bone hurt.
No gyms. Bone hurt. Hashtag no gyms. Bone hurt.
Hashtag no gyms. Bone hurt. You and us and our few people who are listening to this show will only know what that means. Everyone else will be very confused.
We're gonna get that in a tweet like in a week or two from now when people catch up to this, and we're gonna forget what that means. We're gonna be like, what is no gym bone hurt?
We're gonna be like, why did they say that to us? No gym's bone hurt.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, anyways, that seems to be everything we gotta cover here. Oh, I do want to point out that we will be sending off all the giveaways very soon because again, Christmas is very busy. So we didn't get around to it, but it's coming out soon. So if you won something in our last Brew and Brawl, perhaps a Commander deck, then you'll be getting that fairly shortly. So that is something we are definitely doing. But let's talk about what do we have going on for this episode. What is this?
Oh gosh, so this is a farewell to 2016. So we're just like, 2016 evoked a lot of emotions in people, right? It's been a bit of a roller coaster on many regards. So this is sort of just a little bit of a catharsis deck, just to like get it all out, just to kind of go screaming into 2017 and just take the last part of the year and just throw your cards on the table, make some stuff happen, and be like, I'm out.
Or in my case, the opposite of that. But we'll see. We'll see what we're talking about in a second.
Yeah. Those are the two angles. So
what commanders did we get to helm these? I see one of yours. If you're watching YouTube, I see one.
Yeah, Croesus the Purger. Picked for a few reasons. A, I needed Grixis colors.
Okay, great.
B, his ability kind of works in the Purger, right? Let's purge the feelings of 2016 out of here, right? So Croesus the Purger, he's 3 Grixis, so 3 blue, black, red. Legendary dragon, he flies. 6/6. Whenever Croesus the Purger deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, choose a color. Then that player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of that color. This ability will come into play later, and you will see why.
I like Croesus the Purger. I think it's a very cool card, cool ability. I love the art on the Graveborn version of him, because there's two versions, right? He came out in Invasion.
Yep.
And just kind of looks like definitely looks kind of like a weird like leech-headed thing.
It looks like he has, those old iMacs that were colors, like the different colors.
Yeah.
It looks like a purple iMac for a head.
That does look like that. But then when you look at the other version, you're like, oh, okay, he is Scary Dragon.
Way scarier.
For me, I went with Grand Arbiter Augustin the Fourth, which, it should tell you what I'm going to do. Right?
Oh, Grand Arbiter.
He's 2 white and a blue. He's a 2/3 human advisor, legendary, of course. White spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, so that's 1 generic. Blue spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast, and spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast.
I don't like where this is going.
Ooh, no, it's not gonna be good.
But
for you.
Yeah, like on theme, I love where this is going. But like as an opponent of Grand Arbiter Augustine, no like.
Yeah, you're not gonna like it. And let me tell you something. I don't know if Grand Arbiter Augustine's gonna like it very much either. Just most of the things in this deck just stop all magic from being played.
Great, love it, love it.
Great. Okay. Let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. So the Croesus deck, here's what it does. So as I said, it's a catharsis kind of deck. What I want to do, I want to just, if you got mixed feelings, you don't know how to handle what you're feeling, here's what you do. You don't get to go in real life and like take it out on stuff. We said no gyms. So like you're not going to go to the punching bag. So we're going to
Bone hurt, no gym. No gym, bone hurt.
No gyms, bone hurt. We're going to we're going to just make other people feel bad as well, right? We're gonna make life really hard for people.
That sucks.
We're gonna make people wonder what's the point of everything, right? What is the point of casting spells? Nothing has any permanence. Why bother anyway? That's what we're doing.
Oh man,
that's what we're doing. So shall we go into it then?
Yeah,
Let me break it down. So one of the things we're gonna like make this feeling happen is through various enchantments, right? The main enchantment I think for it is Painful Quandary. This was the inspiration for the whole deck. 3 black enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless he or she discards a card. That's a tough choice.
Yeah.
You don't get you have to do one of those, and that sucks. Either one sucks, right? It sucks. So what? That's what we're gonna do. How about this one? How about Soul Barrier? Oops. There we go. There's Soul Barrier up for you. 2 and a blue for another enchantment. Whenever target opponents, and so the way this oracle works, it just means any opponent. So I'll read the oracle text.
Yeah.
Whenever an opponent casts a creature spell, Soul Barrier deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she pays 2 generic. So now they're casting a creature spell. They gotta pay 5 life, or discard a card, or pay 2 more life, or pay 2 generic.
It's like, this is not a blue ability, right? Like shouldn't be in blue. It deals damage, and it like the taxing part is, but this is definitely like a red or black version.
Sure.
It should be now. Like this would never be printed in blue now.
Sure. So we make it very difficult for you to do anything. If you want to do anything, it sucks. Life sucks. And then one extra enchantment, the final enchantment that's going to kind of make this thing roll, is Phyrexian Tyranny.
Ooh.
It's it just costs Grixis. It costs blue, black, red. It's a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever a player draws a card, that player loses 2 life unless he or she pays 2.
Oh,
that includes us. So like we're under it too, but we don't care. We're gonna go down screaming as well if we have to. So far the first 2 only hit opponents, but this hits us as well. But it doesn't matter. Everyone's drawing cards. Everyone's going to have to pay for it. And if you don't want to pay life, you have to pay mana. But if you pay that mana, then you don't have the mana to pay for the other things you need to pay for. So you're going to take some hits no matter how you slice it.
I've played against a lot of Nekusar decks, and I've never seen this card.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess because it affects the Nekusar player too, and maybe they're worried about that. But they should probably just...
But so does, what's it called? Spiteful Visions, and every Nekusar deck runs that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You definitely want this. It's only 3 mana. Like this is an efficient. You get this down. You get Nekusar up. Everyone's losing a lot of life.
It's like draw 2, take 2, or take.
It's draw 1, draw 2, take 6,
or pay 4.
or you pay 4. It's like, well, yeah,
draw
you
2,
can,
take 2.
you can pay for a bit, but
Then you're not doing
not
anything.
much longer. Exactly, you're not doing anything there.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a cool card.
This could be a Nekusar deck. Like, I could have put Nekusar up top and just play it a little differently, but I decided to just be like, nope, more meanness. Great. So here's what we're going to do. Reality Strobe. Here's the next card I want to talk about. 4 blue for a sorcery. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Remove Reality Strobe from the game with 3 time counters on it, right? Or you can just suspend it for 2 and a blue. So every upkeep, you remove a time counter. And then when you remove the last one, you bounce a permanent back to their owner's hand and put this thing back in suspend for 3. So every 4 turns, you get, or is it every 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, every 3 turns, you get to put something back in their hand. Like I said, they're going to have to recast it. They're going to have to get through Painful Quandary. They're going to have to pay 2 again. Like, we're just putting things back in their hands and make them be like, why did I even bother in the first place?
Reality Strobe is nuts. Just keeps going on. Just keeps happening.
It never stops, right? What about Evacuation? Well, let's say they get their board going pretty good, right? 3 blue, return all creatures to their owner's hands. There you go. Well, you spent a lot of mana, you discard a lot of cards, you thought it was worth it. Well, now they're all back in your hand. Now you got to do it all over again.
Yikes.
Screw you. What about Whelming Wave? Same deal. It returns all creatures except for Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents. Who cares? Nobody has those. It's basically return all creatures
Nobody
anyway.
has those. Don't worry about
Right?
it. It's fine.
Right? When's the last time you saw a Leviathan that wasn't like a specific deck that was all about sea creatures?
Yeah. Rexiol is one that you might
Rexiol,
see a little bit.
Maybe Trench Gorger.
Maybe. Yeah. Not. Yeah.
Whatever, man. We got Reality Strobe for those 1 or 2 things that don't work about it, right?
Yeah, you're good to run this.
Yeah, so your opponents are casting spells and they're getting burnt for them. And even when they do, they go back to their hand and it sucks for them. So we're going to keep their hands pretty full of cards. So one of the things we want to do is we want to have Viceling out. 4 mana for an artifact creature, construct 2/2. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Viceling deals X damage to that player where X is the number of cards in his or hand -4. That's a very complicated way to say every card over 4, you take a point.
Yeah, you take a point of damage.
So we're going to keep your hand full of cards. How about Fevered Visions? 1 blue-red enchantment. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player is your opponent and has 4 or more cards in hand, Fevered Visions deals 2 damage to him or her. So they're just taking 2 damage every turn anyway. They're drawing more cards. Viceling's doing more damage. They're just more cards to potentially cast and have to spend money on or discard cards to or whatever. Don't care. Taking the damage. And then finally, Price of Knowledge is very expensive. 6 and a black.
It's a very good commander card, though.
Players have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Price of Knowledge deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. Screw you. I'm gonna keep your stuff in your hand and then you're gonna take damage from it. It's gonna be the worst. You're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate it.
You're very right. This has a lot of overlap with like classic Nekusar.
Classic Nekusar. And I think
yeah.
so the reason Croesus works in this case is I know we want their hands to have large hand sizes, but it is advantageous if you know you've put back a ton of blue cards in their hand recently to just hit them once, name blue, and just have them pitch like 6 or 7 cards. That could be worth it over just getting a few extra points of damage, right? They're going to have to pay anyway when they cast things, so who cares?
Wow.
So the whole deck, that's what it wants to do. Just make life miserable for everybody as a way to just be like, you know what? My deck is 2016, F all of you.
Yeah, I guess our decks are sort of 2016. They're representative of the year, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So while yours was all about pain and
Suffering
and pain cost,
meaninglessness,
we will carry over the cost part. However, ours is a lot more about denial, not allowing anything to happen, and that's Grand Arbiter Augustin the Fourth. If you've played against him, obviously you know where we're going with this. Basically, This is a classic. Like stacks, like hate bears, like all those sorts of things. You're gonna see increasing of mana costs in this deck. You're gonna see some decreasing of your own mana costs, but really, like it can get to the point where it's like, oh, I can't do anything either. So that's gonna suck. Derevi is obviously Derevi stacks is like a popular deck that might be a little bit better than this, but I didn't want to have ways to do my own things. I wanted to only stop everything.
Oh, God.
Even though Grand Arbiter does sort of allow you to do your own stuff a little bit as well. But we'll see. Okay, so first card I wanted to mention, and I think it's just very good in Commander, actually. And not one of those ones where I think it's like, don't play this card. No, play this card. It's okay. Nevermore. 1 and 2 white for an enchantment, and it says, as Nevermore enters the battlefield, name a non-land card. The named card can't be cast. You name their commander, I think, right? You shut down that part of their strategy until they can try and remove Nevermore. But Nevermore is going to be difficult to remove when you have the adding of mana costs onto everything and non-creature spells and things like that. So Nevermore is number one way to just fully stop them from playing a very important part of their deck.
That's a middle finger right there.
It's huge. It's a huge middle finger. The next one that is I think whereas people know about Nevermore, I think this card is pretty underrated. It's Suppression Field. It's 1 and a white for an enchantment that says activated abilities cost 2 more to pay unless they're mana abilities. So mana abilities mean things activated abilities that generate mana. So we won't increase that cost, obviously. But that isn't to say that an activated ability on a land is not affected, because it certainly is. So, for example, a fetch land now costs 2 to crack and go get that other land that you want to get.
Sure.
An Evolving Wilds. Rogue's Passage now costs 6 instead of 4.
Yeah.
Not to mention, of course, all the activated abilities on artifacts and creatures. This little card, which people are like usually not so in a hurry to get rid of, will basically shut off most activated abilities, other than the like most important ones that people will really want to do. And even then, if they play something, oftentimes they don't have enough to keep around for their activated abilities.
Yeah.
This just makes activated abilities not desirable to use.
Yeah.
So let's shut off that side of Magic.
Yep.
Let's shut that down.
Cool.
What do I have here next? Oh yeah, okay. Next I have Mana Maze. So we've shut off their commander. We shut off any activated abilities, but people are still casting spells over here.
We don't want that.
We don't want people to be casting spells. So Mana Maze is a very strange card. It's 1 and a blue for an enchantment, and it says players can't cast spells that share a color with the spell most recently cast this turn.
What?
So I think the original says it says with the spell cast. So you might think it's your last cast spell, but it's just any cast spell. So if you cast your Burgeoning and someone counters it, and you try to play now your like Thassa, you can't, because blue was the last cast spell.
Right.
So if you cast green, you can't cast green. So you have to sequence things in such a way that you can it really sets up a lot of restrictions on how you play, where you play them, and then people can interrupt you and change that if they're smart.
Functionally, a lot of decks will just have this mean you can't cast more than 1 spell a turn.
Exactly.
Like, unless you're like 3 or 4 colors and you're able to just jump colors like that. Yeah.
And that being said, Eidolon of Rhetoric is a more efficient version of this card. Eidolon of Rhetoric is 2 and a white for an enchantment creature. It's a 1/4, and it says each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn.
Cool.
Oh, you thought Commander was a slow game. Wait till you play against a deck like this. This is why I don't like decks like this, is because, Commander can take a long time. It's very fun. We love playing it. But, sometimes you need the game to move forward, and these types of decks don't allow the game to move forward. We want to move out of 2016.
Yeah.
But 2016 is holding us back.
Yeah, 2016 will not like just
It won't go away.
It will not be done.
It's like some terrible thing happens, and then you're like, okay, well, we're almost done. We'll at least get out of that. That being the last thing. Nope, here's another one. Nope, here's another one. Oh, Princess Leia's dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just punishing everyone.
Punishing.
It's a punishing year. So we can't cast more than one spell, but at least when we do cast our spells, when we cast our creatures or what have you, we'll get those abilities, those center of the battlefield abilities.
Oh.
Well, perhaps not if we have our Hushwing Griff in hand. 2 and a white for a 2/1 flash, flying. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I will say this about this ability. So I'm pretty much anti like stacks. I don't like stacks.
Nope.
I don't like that play style. That's okay if you want to play it though. Go for it. Just don't be surprised when people are like, please don't play that deck again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Hushwing Griff is kind of like Nevermore in my opinion, where like this is a card I think people should play way more. And if you wanted to build a deck around or that sort of uses things like Hushwing Griff and Torpor Orb to shut off ETB abilities, and then you run your deck that like it doesn't have any, so you're not punished by those cards.
Right.
I think that's a great idea, and I actually kind of have always wanted to build a deck like that, where there's no real triggering abilities on entering and things like that. Like we're not worried about that. So because you'd be surprised, so many decks rely so heavily on ETB effects, right? Like so many decks, even if you don't build that specifically in mind. It's just the way creatures are made now in Magic. It's just the best creatures enter with a spell attached to them.
Sure.
So you turn them into vanilla creatures essentially when you have something like Hushwing Griff or Torpor Orb out already.
Yeah, like any green creature that brings a card back from your graveyard.
Yeah.
Right? That's not going to work anymore. Mulldrifter, sorry, you're just a dumb flyer now.
Yep.
Shriekmaw, dumb flyer.
Goes and gets lands. Any of those green creatures.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And Torpor Orb's the artifact that's just for 2 mana. It does the same thing as Hushwing Griff. So, shutting down some things. So, okay. Right now, we're shutting down those triggered abilities from ETBs. We're shutting down activated abilities with our suppression field. You can only cast one spell. Well, if you can only cast one spell, let's make it a creature. Let's make it a good one. However, if we have Void Winnower, or I guess it could be a sorcerer instant or whatever, Void Winnower is a 9-drop, 11/9 Eldrazi that says your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana costs. Just shuts off half of the spells, roughly, in Magic's history.
This card sucks.
Just half of the spells your opponents want to cast, they can't.
Yeah.
There's no way. Your opponents also can't block with creatures with even converted mana costs. But you know what? We probably won't have any creatures that are worth attacking with anyway, so don't worry about that. Our opponents. That's the way this deck is.
Oh, boy.
Void Winnower, 11/9. This is the guy that they're not going to be able to block, right? But shutting off half, I'm surprised we don't see this card a little bit more either. I mean, it's a pretty high cost. I guess some decks just might not be worth running it for them, but I think this is a powerful card.
This is like
how many board wipes are 4 mana or even 6 mana? Like
right,
that shuts off a lot of that stuff.
It's just because it's like it attacks players on an angle that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. It's like okay, if I have a creature based strategy and you have a thing to kill creatures, great. You're at an advantage.
Right.
Okay, so if I'm going to do all kinds of spells and you're going to counter them, great. That's your advantage.
Sure.
But this is just like, this one costs 2. You can't do it. It's so random.
Yeah, it's fairly arbitrary, right? It's like, it attacks this mana cost for no other reason other than it doesn't like even things. Like, so, now I can't play my, I don't know, whatever, like my Sun Titan. This thing just doesn't let it happen.
Yeah, can't do Sun Titan.
Can't do any of the Titans.
None of the Titans, but like Red Gearhulk's fine or whatever. One of the 5 ones is like, and the 7's fine. So like, if you're a big creature deck, your really big creatures are fine. Your kind of big creatures are no good, and your medium creatures are fine. Like it feels so bad when you're staring at your hand. It's like the opponent who has Void Winnower is not doing anything to stop you that makes sense in any kind of theme or like narrative. Is just like, yeah, nothing with 4. It's like,
It says, okay, what's the flavor text on this? Have you ever seen a world fall to its knees, watch and learn Ob Nixilis? Okay, well that doesn't have anything to do. That doesn't tell us how Void Winnower is stopping these things. Like, how does this Eldrazi like connect to casting costs from a lore standpoint?
it's a unique kind of feels bad that doesn't exist on any other card. At least if something destroys all small creatures, you're like, okay, I get that. It kills everything small.
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Or if it kills everything that's a Getic Teak doesn't let you do big things, that I can wrap my head around that.
Yes, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is so arbitrary, and you just might be like, well, I didn't think about evens versus odds when I built my deck, so
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think to add an appropriate number of odd casting costs to this. So this might shut down like. This could shut down like a lot of like a deck. If you just have, oh man, looking through this deck, I only have 5 spells that have odd casting costs. Like,
Yeah, right?
That could be possible.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, cultivate Kodama's Reach. Those are fine, but like, who cares?
If your commander is an even cost, forget about
Oh
it. Right.
God,
Yeah.
it sucks.
And finally, I just wanted to quickly mention Thalia, Heretic Cathar, because she's the 2 and a white for 3/2. She's from Eldritch Moon. She has first strike, and creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. This might be viewed as a part of an aggressive strategy where it's like, oh, they can't drop blockers down, they can't, and also to stop haste, things like that, which this does all those things. But really, it's just to support things like Winter Orb and things like that. So
What?
stasis, things like that. So you won't have an untap phase sometimes in this.
Oh,
You'll just skip it,
Andy.
and then those things will come in tapped, and they'll never untap.
Do you run that enchantment from Kaladesh too? That consulate something where you gain a life for every creature and it enters tapped?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
And as well as the one with Extort.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is a fun deck to run exactly once.
Yeah.
Just be like you have to, like, when you're shuffling up and like, oh, who's your commander? Grand Arbiter? And it's like, okay, it's gonna be kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Guys, before we get going, I just want to say that you are all good friends of mine, and no matter what happens here, you are all very important to me.
I am sorry.
I'm sorry from what I'm about to do.
You do need to play this deck with people who know where you're coming from and know that you're doing this as a joke, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because that's all it does is it just stops everyone,
Oh
stops
my
the
God.
game. Those are the ones I wanted to highlight for this mean, terribly it's just kind of across the board stops everything. Across the
Whoa.
board, paying the price.
Gross.
It sucks. It like across the board in 2016, I felt a lot of people paid the price. you
yeah,
know?
right? Paying the price.
Yeah, just a rough year for a lot of things. So this is going to be a rough deck.
Well,
Pay back 2016 with this terrible deck.
that being said, what are some of the 3 stars of these heinous decks?
Okay, all right.
The cards that function the best. So going back to the Crosis, Grixis, make everyone wonder what the point of everything is. One of the best cards, we'll start at number 3 here. I think I did them in the wrong order on the tabs. That's okay. You did. That's all right. So Jace's Sanctum, 3 and a blue. This is an enchantment. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And this is because a lot of the deck are instant or sorcery bounce type spells. We're going to make those all cheaper. But the key part of it is that whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. We have a lot of scry engines in this deck, all the ones we could find, because we have to get those enchantments down that make life miserable. If we didn't, then this deck is just bouncing things for no reason, and then they eventually kill us. Like it all hinges around that handful of enchantments that make life miserable, and we need to be able to scry for them. Second star of the deck, Capsize. This is repeatable bounce.
Oof.
We love repeatable bounce in this deck because we want to keep bouncing things back and back and back. And if we have to do it 1 for 1, we're going to lose that race. So we need to be able to repeat this, and Capsize does that wonderfully. 1 blue for an instant, return target permanent to its owner's hand, but you can buy it back for 3 generic. So for a total of 6, you can do this and not lose the card. Every turn,
Very
pay
powerful.
6.
Classic.
And you might think 6 is a lot of mana to do that. It is. But when you consider your opponents have to spend an extra 2 mana here, an extra 3 mana there, or lose life or whatever, then they are also spending a lot more on whatever they're casting. So you're probably still winning the tempo there.
Yeah, with Arcane Melee and Jace's Sanctum, this buyback is free.
Yeah, it's true.
If you can work that out.
That's
then
true.
you
I
can
don't
do a
have
lot of
Arcane Melee
damage.
because I don't want my opponents to get
you don't
cheaper.
want to help them. Yeah,
No. And then the best card in the deck, I think, is Overburden. 1 in a blue. It's an enchantment. It's another one of these enchantments that makes life miserable. Whenever a player, that's all players, not just you, puts a non-token creature onto the battlefield, that player returns a land he or she controls to its owner's hand.
Whenever a player puts okay.
So
Wow.
So
So if you want to play creatures, you have to bounce your lands.
So not only do you have to pay more or pay life or discard cards, you have to put a land back in your hand, so you do not get to develop further. And
This
then
should definitely. I didn't see this one. This one should definitely be in my deck also.
right,
Definitely.
and then I'm gonna like play something like evacuation. So all the creatures go back into your hand, and now you're gonna have to like
Oh,
if you want to
man.
cast them again, you gotta put your lands back in your hand.
Oh,
so
man.
if you do more than one creature a turn, you go back on lands. You're going back in time land wise.
Wow.
F you.
This deck is I definitely need this card in here. This is mean. This is too mean. Listen to that evil laugh. Oh my god. Okay. I just did a last minute change, so bear with me here.
Okay.
So my number 3 is Winter Orb.
Oh boy.
I just mentioned it. Winter Orb is 2 mana, and it's an artifact that says as long as Winter Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than 1 land during their untapped steps.
Gross.
So you can't cast anything, basically.
No.
Right? I think a classic way to use Winter Orb is to have a lot of mana rocks. So that's really your the source of mana. And then you just, you keep your lands up and untap it slowly, and then use them at times for colors when you need them and so on. But
Or the other way is to be able to tap Winter Orb on you before your upkeep,
Sure,
so
yeah.
that you don't get affected by it. Everyone else does.
Yeah, you can do that as well, of course. There's a lot of ways to do that. But Winter Orb is here just to lock down, your opponent's ability to play Magic. I'll just say it. We don't want them to play Magic. And you know what? If it locks us down too, well, that's the way it works. And that's the way the year goes.
We're taking everyone down with us.
That's right. Second star is my audible here. I'm going with Yose the Morning Star. Yose is a mean old card that I have in my Carador deck that I always feel bad about playing. And I kind of feel like that means I should probably pull it out of the deck. But Yose is 4 and 2 white for legendary Dragon Spirit. It's 5/5 with flying. And it says, when Yose the Morningstar dies, target player skips his or her next untap step, tap up to 5 target permanents that player controls. So this can really get your Winter Orb ball rolling, or your Stasis ball rolling if you want. And
Wow.
really just set people back and set them back for, their next turn, right? Like their next turn is also going to be frozen. That's
so dumb.
It's a lot.
So dumb.
It's really tough to come back from this type of effect, especially if you're then being targeted by that player as well as to attack or whatever. Because if they're just shutting you down for a turn, you can afford to do that in EDH, But if the person attacks you, then they Yose you, tap all your stuff before you can get it going. And do it at the right time so that you're also frozen for another turn. That's even in Commander, that's difficult to come back from.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is why it's the same as you just leave a player so vulnerable, then people are just gonna be like, I can't not take a chip in here, right? I
You
can't,
have to.
I can't send a few I can't not send a few creatures in while I got a free
right.
free ride.
And if you're playing against those, those players that their commander needs to hit to do something, Yidris, or maybe they draw a card when they hit. Little
Croesus wants to hit.
Yeah, exactly, right? So Yosei really opens the door for that. Sack outlets are great with Yosei, so you kind of need that on top of it. But Yosei is really, really.
I do
just a
like
mean
this
ability.
card. Even I think the fair use of this card is without a sack outlet, without targeting. I think there is a fair use. Just run it out as protection. Just be like, hey guys,
Yeah.
don't wrath me. If you do, you will lose your untap step, right? Or don't attack me with a big creature, because if you do, I'll block with Yosei, and then you'll lose your untap step. It's on you. I'm not going to target anyone actively, but if you F with me, you will lose your next untap
And if they
step.
attack you with a big enough creature, it's like, well, don't do that either.
Yeah.
We'll block with Yosei.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you like it's on you. Yosei's just going to sit here and do nothing unless you provoke.
Yeah. And dice triggers are also a great way to get around like Torpor Orb and stuff. So leaving the battlefield
Yes.
is a good way to
Yes.
still maintain those spells on creatures, basically, right? And the number 1 star, this one's interesting, is I don't know how to say this. Reveille?
It's a French. So if you were to say it in French, it's Reveille, but the song that you play on the bugle in the army is called Reveille.
Weird.
So I
So
think
it
it's
must be
just
Reveille.
like it just depends on like how original pronunciation do you want to go with it, right?
Mhm.
If you want to fully North Americanize it, it's Reveille. But I think it's like if you're going to keep some of the French pronunciation, it's Reveille Squad.
So basically, what this means is like if you get this maybe isn't the number 1 star. Maybe this is more of a discovery actually. Now that I'm reading it, but Reveille Squad or Reveille Squad or whatever you want to say it. Basically, it's a 4 mana 3/3. It says whenever one or more creatures attacks you, if this card is untapped, you may untap all creatures you control. So it's kind of like Vigilance, but basically, if you have some tapping abilities, which we do, and on top of that, if you've got everyone stasised out, then it's just like don't. Like if one guy comes up, you're not attacking me, because then you're activating everything I have. You're activating all my stuff that has come into play tapped is no longer tapped, right? I get to untap everything. And obviously we'll let this one thing untap because it needs to be. We'll tap our Winter Orb, whatever. Tapping and untapping is kind of a secondary strategy in this deck that kind of works. And this card is basically, it's basically like a Ghostly Prison or, Kazul. It's one of those types of cards, but it's doubly effective because everyone doesn't have anything. No one has anything in this game. No one's going to get to do anything in this game except the 1 or 2 things they get to do, and this basically makes sure that you never get attacked. Otherwise, I'll get to do even more stuff, which is making you do even less stuff. 2016, get out of here.
Get out of here.
It's confusing. Are our decks 2016, or is this just our reaction to the way the year went?
Well, I don't know because I also don't know how to process my feelings for 2016.
Yeah, that's the
Like
thing.
it's a tough because like it's easy to get stuck in like all the crap that happened, but like a lot of cool things happened as well. Like it's been 12 months of like a lot of awesome stuff,
That's true.
right? Like
Yep.
let's not forget to like look at the cool things that happen in our lives, but at the same time it's just like I got all this emotion in me and I don't know what to do with it.
So I'll just everything stop.
Yeah.
No one's playing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a marked change from last week's episode.
Yeah.
We're feeling that holiday spirit.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I already opened my things. I got a Terry's chocolate orange.
I had to smash it on the cupboard, and then I smashed it into the garbage.
That was a very polarizing idea. We got a lot of comments of people very vocal of big fans of orange plus chocolate.
Really? I know we got a few that were just like, your candy choices are wrong. Like, we don't like what you guys are talking about.
I have to assume that people are joking, but we definitely got people who are like, I had to stop listening when you said orange and chocolate. So like, if you're giving us a second chance out there, if you're like, I'll listen to these guys one more week.
If they don't mention Terry's again, we're good.
But we already did. So maybe we're
We
not.
already
Getting...
talked about how we're gonna smash it and throw it into the garbage, melt it and use it to, I don't know, fuse bricks together. I don't know. What else could it be good?
Okay, here's
for?
what's gonna happen. I'm gonna call us right now, Andy. Since I'm putting you on the spot, you don't have to participate.
Okay.
It's up to you. Tomorrow's Brew and Brawl, or today's Brew and Brawl, or right now's Brew and Brawl, whenever you're listening. That's gonna be Thursday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Remember,
Eastern Standard Time.
# no Jim bone hurt.
No Jim's bone hurt. I, Shanta Barris, I'm going to eat a wedge of Terry's chocolate orange.
A wedge?
One wedge.
Only one wedge. Okay.
Of Terry's chocolate orange on stream. That's it. You know what I'm gonna do? I haven't had one in a long time. I'm gonna eat it with an open mind and see if my tastes haven't changed. See if maybe this is a flavor I now enjoy later in life. I can't remember the last time I ate one of these.
I'll join you in this challenge. I will remind you though that just last night you and I were at our friend's house, our friend Butler, who we mentioned a lot on the show.
Guest host Butler.
He guest hosted, of course. We were at his place, and someone had brought a pot of gold thing of chocolates.
Yep.
And what were those last ones remaining? Do you remember those?
The orange cream.
The orange creams were the only ones left.
They were the
No
last
one wanted
ones.
those orange creams. I heard multiple times people open up that, chocolates. And they open it up and they went, it's just orange creams left. It's like, oh, the orange creams. It's like, oh, those are both orange creams. I heard those like a lot, quite a bit over the course of the night. So
okay, but I question, when's the last time any of those people ate an orange chocolate?
I don't know, but I feel like you fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Because when I was a little kid, I hated tomatoes.
You're not going to fool me again.
I hated tomatoes as a kid. Love tomatoes now.
Wait, it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I just did exactly what George Bush did. You fool me once, shame on me. You fool me twice.
Won't get fooled again.
You're not going to fool me again.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Shame again.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyways. Orange creams. I'm not eating them again. But I will do this challenge
the cream,
because it sounds
though.
fun.
The cream is the deal breaker,
I
right?
don't know if it is. I think the cream's working hard to make you like it.
Yeah, I hate creaminess inside chocolate.
What?
Is it Terry's creamy inside or just solid?
No, it's just solid.
Okay, that I can handle. I can't handle that
You don't
creamy.
like a cream? What about like Lindor's?
Lindor's are like just on the right side of okay, but a Cadbury cream egg.
Oh, I don't like cream eggs.
Please.
Enough.
Again, we might be alienating some dessert fans.
I'll tell you why I don't like cream eggs. They're too sweet. That cream on the inside is too sweet. It's not even really a texture thing for me. It's just I love the chocolate. I love a good Cadbury chocolate. But that inside cream egg, I don't know, what is that? The sugar goop. I'm not into it.
It is an alien technology that is being contained with chocolate. And once you crack the seal and you unleash it, it will get on your entire hands and desk and body, and everything will be sticky for the next week. I don't know how they do it.
No, I know what they do. They got together with the honey people.
The honey people. The bees.
The bees. Also known as the bees. They got together with the honey crowd and they said, hey guys, how do we ruin people's hands?
Yeah.
The most efficiently.
There's one thing you honey guys are good at is making everything sticky.
Yeah, exactly. Every single thing on your kitchen counter where you make your tea or whatever, it's going to be sticky. You're going to have it all over your spoons and hands. Anyways, enough.
All right. So chocolate over. Any
over.
surprises or discoveries about the decks? I found one
when
searching for this. Another reason I kind of felt like going Grixis. This is called Nightscape Master. This is a 2 black for a 2/2 zombie wizard. 2 activated abilities on this fella. The one we don't care about so much is red tap. Nightscape Master deals 2 damage to target creature. It might make a difference, right? We might be able to just pick things off.
Once in a while, I might be able to get a good utility creature.
Sure, but the main one is blue tap. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Repeatable bounce. Never has to stop bouncing things.
That's good.
If I keep 2 mana up, if I've got capsize and I am able to keep 8 mana up, you have to play 3 creatures to stay ahead of me.
Yeah, this guy. That's how many things have activated ability that's tapping to return target creature?
Very few.
Gotta be very few, right?
I looked far and wide for this. Another one that came up was Erratic Portal, but it's conditional.
Right.
They have to pay an extra 1 or get bounced.
That's usually reserved for your own stuff, just because it's like, oh, what a great way. It's easier for me to bounce my stuff. I just refuse to pay the 1, and then there we go.
Sure. Yeah. There are very, very few ways to just repeat it. There's a creature that does it well for blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool blue.
It's hard. It's hard to find.
I found a few orbs. I got Mindlock Orb, which is just that players can't search libraries.
Oh, wow.
So forget that. So you can't tutor for your answer once a Mindlock Orb is out there.
Or not only like just like sorry Terramorphic Expanse.
If you ever draw that,
you're a dead card.
Yeah, it's a dead card. Not even. Yeah. Wow. I can't even use it. Hopefully you got a Urborg or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I got an Orb of Dreams over here. The converted mana cost on Mindlock Orb is 3 and a blue for that ability. It's an artifact. And this is Orb of Dreams is another artifact for 3 generic, and it says permanents come into play tapped. So this also lets this is your lands, this is your enchantments, this is your artifacts, this is everything. It's weird to have an enchantment that's tapped, but it's real. It's what it is. Orb of Dreams, just a hyper efficient version of Thalia that is an artifact, so a little bit tougher to get rid of.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's just cards I would never ever think of and play or ever want to play, basically. That's all I did for this. I just basically thought up all the worst cards in Magic.
Yeah. I gotta say, Andy, I do feel a bit better having built this deck.
You do?
I don't need to play it. I don't feel the need to like run it out, but like I feel like I got a bit of release by just going through the motions.
I feel like if you could build a version of this deck, the one that I'm talking about, the Grand Arbiter, that not only stopped people but then won really quickly, I'd be okay with playing against it once in a while. But that's the thing. Those two things are very difficult to lock up or to make happen together, right?
I feel like the Croesus deck, if I were to build this in real life, I would want to make sure it was built in such a way that it would be like a plane without an engine. Like everybody just keeps going down faster and faster and faster, and it's just a matter of like who hits the ground last. Can it be me? Hopefully. But I don't want to do it through just like, I know I'm bouncing a lot of stuff, but the idea is that you're going to have to pay a lot more to like cast it, right? In theory, if I just bounce too many things and everyone's so mad and they figure out a way to kill me, then maybe they'll feel better and now they'll have a lot of their board is ready to go. And they're like, okay, now let's play the real game.
Yeah. Mogus would be good in your deck.
Oh, yes. I don't remember his abilities specifically.
He's a little pricey these days. He's not super cheap. But Mogus, God of Slaughter, 2 black, red. He's a god. He's a 7/5, indestructible. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogus deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacks a creature.
Ooh. Yeah, okay.
I mean, you want them to be replaying stuff, but like, if they just don't have anything, that's fine,
also fine.
Right?
That's also fine.
If they ever want to take that damage, that's also fine.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Oh, and here's a card that I hope you have in your deck. Can you look up Declaration of Naught? There it is.
Declaration of Naught.
It's an enchantment. Blue. As Declaration of Naught enters the battlefield, name a card. Blue. Counter target spell with the chosen name.
Very similar to Nevermore.
Very similar. You have to always keep that blue open to make it run. But
you just name a commander and...
So I guess with this, so Nevermore you name Andy's commander, and with Declaration of Naught you can name Butler's commander, and you're just like, no, I'm the only one who gets to play commander.
What? That's not nice. Oh my god, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Name Capsize with it if you're playing against Sean's deck, though.
Great. I have a million ways to bounce. Doesn't matter. I have a million cards. I think I have a total of like 20 cards that bounce.
Okay, so before we get to the budget report, we'll quickly talk about our friends over at Wizard Tower. WizardTower.com. Of course, use our coupon code when you're going to make an order from those guys. It's Tower of Brews. And that coupon code will work in the Canadian store or the United States store. They've got 2. They got one down south as well. So if you're from, I was gonna say Trump land, but that's just more depressing than I'd like it.
I don't want
to
to.
be.
I don't want to say that.
We don't want to get into that. But if you're from the United States, then you can safely order from Wizards Tower, and you don't have to pay like crossing the border duties and things like that. It's great. You get some kickback on your orders every time.
Yeah.
You free shipping if you're ordering $10 or more in the U.S., $15 or more in Canada. It's great.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Christmas money.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking of what to do with it, and I'd be lying if I didn't say a bunch of Magic cards didn't cross my mind. And if I do, I'm for sure getting a Wizards Tower.
Yeah, I definitely got to put it in order because I got for Christmas various family members plus my wife got together and gave me all 5 Commander decks because they know I like Commander, so it's a very easy thing to buy for me. So it's great.
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier about that. But now I'm just overwhelmed with choice. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, ooh, I want to build a deck, but which one? And like it's been so long since they came out, I probably should know by now, but I haven't landed on anything hardcore specifically. I got an Ishai Rayhan deck, which we talked about.
Yeah.
But
got to tune that one up.
But that's the thing. I got to tune it up, so I got to go to Wizards Tower. I got to get some cards. Great. So let's get on to the budget report.
This is where we take all of the cards and we line them all up, give them a last meal, and destroy them all. But not before we torture them. Waterboarding, just the worst possible thing.
That's
We're
awful.
gonna ruin every card's life. No card makes it this time.
Oh no. I don't like this. Oh well, that's the budget report, I guess. No card makes it.
Okay.
We're done.
But seriously. So the Grixis FU 2016 led by Croesus comes in at $47.03. Most expensive card is Overburden.
Oh wow.
This is the one that whenever a creature card comes into play, whenever a player puts a non-token creature into play, you return a land to their owner's hand. That is a $4 card. Second most expensive card is Painful Quandary. That's the one that it's a 3 black, the enchantment where you have to either discard a card or pay 5 life to cast spells. That's up to $3. I guess people like putting people under the knife like that.
Yep.
And the third most expensive card is our commander, Croesus himself.
$3.
$3.
Yeah, I've got that similar thing going on here where my most expensive card in our deck, which pretty much right up against the border. We're up on $50 here. Mostly because of cards like Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, which is in at around $650. So this one is above where we'd like to be spending for our decks on the show. But, when you're talking about a commander, you're talking about the central card behind the deck, and you're talking about a central theme, and this card does so much that I think it's worth running this as the commander. Like I said, Derevi is definitely a possible replacement, and you can add green that way, but then you're talking Derevi stacks, and I didn't want it to be just so plain like that. So yeah, Grand Arbiter Augustin, $650. Next we have Leonin Arbiter, which is a great card. I think it is worth keeping in this deck. It's 1 and a white for a 2/2 cat cleric. It says players can't search libraries. Any player may pay 2 for that player to ignore this effect until end of turn. So what this does is it usually won't actually stop anyone from searching library unless a player is not really keeping track of things and they don't see this out or something like that, which is bonus if that happens. That's great. But usually what it'll just do, though, is make them pay the 2, and then that just will nerf their turn. Then they won't be able to play that 6 mana spell this turn. They've got to wait and maybe play a 3 or 4 mana spell in turn that turn instead. So it gives you time and lets you set up, and then later when we've denied them of any mana, they just can't search their libraries. So Leonin Arbiter around $350, and then around in at $3 we have Archangel of Tithes, and that's from Magic Origins. It's 1 white, 4 mana, 3/5 flyer. As long as Archangel of Tithes is untapped. So this one you got to be careful with. Again, we said there's some tapping and untapping, so this is one you want to keep untapped. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 generic for each of those creatures, and as long as Archangel of Tithes is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. The first ability is the one we're really in there for, and the second ability is kind of a bonus. But I will say this overall, this card could be taken out and replaced with some more like board locking down stuff as opposed to just preventing attacks, because it is only one for each creature. If you come up against a Voltron deck or something, this card doesn't do much.
I might include there's an Angelic Arbiter.
Oh, Angelic Arbiter is in the deck for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe and is definitely better than this.
Cool.
Maybe that one should have been a star instead of Revel Squad or whatever they're called.
Reveille Squad? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to find a star when everyone is evil. And
and everyone's evil and like doing mostly the same things. Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. Oof. I feel better. I feel relaxed.
We really did Croesus the Purge this. We
Yeah.
purged this out of us.
Purged it.
We'll see you later, 2016. Leave this kind of stuff in the past.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's symbolically start fresh.
Yeah.
And just try to find the positive in everything.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. New year, right?
Yeah.
So thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And thanks for listening for the whole year.
Oh, yeah.
I know we said this in our 2016 recap episode, but,
Since it's still 2016, we're going to say it again.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for listening and supporting us, whether it's just listening or interacting with us on Twitter or on our Facebook group, whether you're buying stuff from Wizard Tower, if you're contributing to the Patreon, all of it is helpful. Even if you just left a review on iTunes, that's great. We couldn't ask for anything more. Everyone that listens is the absolute best. We love interacting with you guys and getting to be in your ear once a week. It's great. Now, we promise we won't ever do this again, where we just tell you the worst cards. Well, we can't promise that. Maybe we'll tell you the worst cards again later sometime.
It'll come up once.
It'll come up again.
Eventually.
But positivity all throughout. We'll be back with a commander interview. But until then, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Kaladesh Fitness. We're just going to open up the desk here and see who's coming in for the big New Year's rush. Just thought we'd have you listeners in here, the Commander's Brew, and just see who pops in. Let's open her up. Oh,
Hello.
yeah, all right, bro. Gonti, Lord of Luxury.
Yes, my reputation precedes me.
Yeah, I recognized you for sure, man.
The Lord of Luxury.
Yes, yeah. Well, can I spark you up a membership or?
Yes, I have a few questions first.
Please shoot.
How luxurious is your facility?
Well, I'll tell you, we're pretty luxurious these days. We got all the seats are padded here. There's actually pizza on Tuesdays, and every second Wednesday of the month, that's a bagel day. We're gonna go hard on bagels those days.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah, that's how we stole that from Planet Fitness, which is a real gym that really does that.
That's a great idea. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, Kaladesh, we got to be on the edge, right?
I have to admit something.
What's that?
I have lived a life of luxury, and I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I'm starting to get a little soft in my middle.
You mean you're 20 days, right? Because you Aetherborn.
I'm an Aetherborn. That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
my 20s. Yeah. I'm in my 30s.
Okay, wow,
So-
you're getting up there.
Right, and so is this belly of mine. I would like to, work it off. They say that your summer body is made in the winter.
Yeah.
Since it's the winter. I mean, I'm an Aetherborn, so it might not even matter.
yeah. I mean, you're probably not going to make it. Let's be honest. But are you just reading that from the poster behind me there? Or,
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's
yes.
good. That's good. That's inspiration. That's what we want here at
I
Kaladesh
just-
Fitness.
I just feel bad about my appearance, and I want to get fit. I want 6-pack abdominals.
Listen, no shame. Okay, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in coming in here and feeling this way about your body. But this is the thing. You are maybe not going to make it the full cycle we need you to get there. So this is going to be a real intense workout
What?
for you.
Is my money no good for you?
Oh, hey, listen,
Are
I'm
you
literally
saying-
not allowed to turn anyone down from this, okay? I've got orders from on high to accept everyone.
Okay, so give me one of them bagels and let's talk.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel bad about this. I feel like we're heading in the wrong direction off the top. But please have a bagel. Would you like
Ooh.
cream cheese or peanut butter?
Ooh, I'll take both.
Oh my God.
I'm
You
luxurious.
are very luxurious. I feel like maybe I know how you got this bod now. Okay, well, do you have any other resolutions for this year? Maybe we can sort of tie those into your fitness regime.
Well, do you have any extra sort of perks? I'm feeling a bit tense in
Well,
my shoulder area.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have a massage studio around the back. We get some new age music. We put some essential oils on there, and we'll just rub you down.
Ooh, I love essential oils. So luxurious. Make sure you get the bones. My bones are feeling very stiff.
You want us to massage your bones?
Yes. As an Aetherborn, here's our anatomy. Skin,
Mm-hmm.
ether,
yeah.
bones.
Skin, ether, and bones.
Yes.
Wow, man. So I guess we can only really massage the skin and bones of you.
Yes. Luxuriously. With all of the oils.
I can't promise that it won't hurt a lot, because that's how it hurts when people really knuckle on my bones. You know what I mean?
No bone hurt.
No bone.
No Jim's bone hurt.
No. Where did you hear that?
From a podcast.
Hey, what's
Commander's
going on?
Brew.
This is getting weirdly meta. That's the podcast we're on for some reason.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I have luxurious listening.
What is that? Okay. You have special hearing?
I only listen to luxurious podcasts. Also on my subscriptions are Sounds of the Ocean and The Sound of Gold Falling Downstairs.
How many episodes of that podcast are there?
It's weekly.
It's a weekly
Yes,
podcast.
yes, yes.
And I'm assuming they pick different stairs.
I have a
different
lot
heights.
to catch up on.
Oh, you do? So you haven't listened-
I've got months of listening ahead of me.
Okay, great. Well, I mean, if you could just tell everyone the name of that podcast, we can all listen to it.
Sure, Gold Stare.
Gold Stare. Okay. They went real literal on
Gold
that.
Stare here and there.
Gold Stare, and in brackets here and there.
Yeah, they go all around the world and drop gold, like as you said, down different stairs.
Down different stairs. Well, I'll tell you what, that little bit about the podcast really capped off your forms here to get into Kaladesh Fitness.
Excellent.
So we can let you in and get you on a machine right away.
Sure. Which way to the water fountain? I'm going to put my mouth on it.
Please don't. Okay.
If you want to contact us, you can do so on Twitter at Commander's Brew. Individually, we are,
At Andy Hellbone.
and I'm at Sean Tabaris. Or send us a Gmail, commandersbrew@gmail.com.
Also, you can check out all of our decks on tappedout.net/users/commandersbrew. And you can go to patreon.com if you'd like to donate and help support the show.
And if you want to check all this out in one place, go to commandersbrew.com for all this info.